Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, tomorrow night in Hartford, Connecticut at the state capitol, there will be a solemn annual event when 10 veterans are inducted into the Connecticut Veterans Hall of Fame. This is a ceremony which dates back to 2005, in which 10 veterans, again, are honored by the state of Connecticut, including of the 92 that are on the rolls, was President George Herbert Walker Bush, who hails, of course, from the state of Connecticut. And again, it honors not only their service, where they wore the uniform of our nation, but also for their work after they left the service to help the over 200,000 veterans that reside in the state of Connecticut. For the Second Congressional District of Eastern Connecticut is a particularly proud night because 6 of the 10 hail from the Second District. I would argue that this is no coincidence. This is the home of the largest operating military installation in New England with the Groton Sub Base, and as recently was described by the Hartford Courant, had the highest concentration of Iraq and Afghan war veterans, again, because of the great patriotism and sense of duty that, again, I think is part of the fabric of that great part of our state. I would like to briefly describe these 6 gentlemen and have their names entered into the record. Edward Francis Atkins, known as Bud, from Oakdale, Connecticut, served 40 years in the Navy. A former submariner, he mentors students at the Navy Submarine School. Bud is a respected leader within the submarine force and a Command Master Chief Petty Officer, retired, and for the last 4 years has been on the selection panel to identify outstanding sailors who are the best of the best in the submarine force. He is now heading up the Groton Subvets chapter, which again helps the 8,000 sailors that live in that community. He'll be hard at work at Thanksgiving, serving meals to make sure that those sailors, again, have some of the comforts of home while they are serving their nation. Samuel Baez of Waterford, Connecticut, served as a Navy chaplain during Vietnam, conducting the memorial service in Da Nang for the first Marine casualties of the war. Those 7 names are still memorialized on the first panel of the Vietnam Memorial here in Washington. Since he retired, he has continued to counsel veterans around the world and serves as a counselor and parental sponsor to Coast Guard cadets who are attending the Coast Guard Academy in New London, Connecticut. Edmund Clark of Madison, Connecticut, served our nation in Vietnam as a Marine, and after earning his law degree, he has provided legal assistance free of charge to help veterans receive the benefits they receive through their service. It is not well known, but that the VA caps legal fees at $10 for any veterans who challenges a disability ruling. Mr. Clark has brushed aside that restriction and again represented veterans free of charge to make sure that they get the benefits they deserved. Maurice Collin of Coventry, Connecticut, a Marine Corps veteran, Vietnam veteran, served as a veteran service officer in the Office of Advocacy and Assistance in the Connecticut Department of Veterans Affairs. He was selected to serve as acting commissioner for a period of time, and since his retirement from state government, he has continued to contribute his time to veterans. He provides volunteer driving assistance to disabled veterans in Eastern Connecticut to their medical appointments and supervises the clothing donation program at the Newington VA Hospital. Robert Getman of Old Lyme, who will be inducted posthumously today, served 30 years in the Coast Guard. After his retirement in 1984, he went on to serve as the director of the Veterans Home in Rocky Hill. And for 10 years, he worked vigorously to rehabilitate, educate, and place veterans into careers. Finally, Jerry Wright of Bolton, Connecticut, my neighbor, served 2 tours in Vietnam in the Army, and later as a member of the Army National Guard, served in Operation Desert Storm. Since retiring in 1999, Jerry has been everywhere, helping veterans all across the Connecticut. He devotes his time to various veteran service organizations, helping veterans in many ways, collecting care packages for Connecticut servicemen overseas, and he has faithfully attended every send-off and welcome home ceremony for the Connecticut National Guard at the Hartford State Army over the last few years. The hard work of these men, combined with their unfailing dedication to service even after leaving the military, exemplifies the greatest attributes of the American spirit. Because of their continued service, the few that stand out in particular are well deserving of being honored tomorrow at the Connecticut's Veterans Hall of Fame. I want to thank them for their commitment to improving their communities and the lives of our fellow veterans. At a time of an all-volunteer service, it is critical that we have folks like these out there making sure that this nation respects and honors and provides all the assistance of the people, the 1% who stand up to defend our nation. And with that, I yield back the balance of my time.